This week I thought we would do some brainstorming. There's been a thing I've been brainstorming with myself for many, many, many years, and I thought I'd present it to you guys and hope you guys can either help modify it or give me your suggestions. But when you're talking to somebody who knows absolutely nothing about square dancing, how do you explain it to them? Partly they have a feel for it. They've seen cartoons. They may be forced to do it in kindergarten. Um, Partly you're trying to get them interested in joining the group. Um, by the way, I was going to say this is our 86th session. We keep doing this stuff. Partly you're hoping that they will get interested in joining a square dance group, but sometimes it's more just like they know you're a fanatic and you're trying to justify it. You're trying to get a feel for what it's what it's all about. To give them a feel for what it's all about. And I'm going to do screen sharing because I had, even though I am not big on PowerPoint presentations, I found that I'm having fun creating them. Uh, let's see, I can see most of you now. Good. So part one, what is square dancing? How do you try to explain the excitement to a non-dancer? And we all get excited about it. I think we're hooked. Why else are we spending our Saturday mornings here? And do I have to click on this to make that work? There we go. Whoops. What is square dancing? We missed that one. Okay, I'm here. Got the date right, I think. So here's things other phrases that people come up with. It's similar to chess. You're moving people around and everybody has a different way to do it. I don't think that gets the word across, but friendship set to music. We all know that, but I don't think that tells people what's really going on. For some people, it's puzzle solving set to music. Should I have put puzzle solving set to friendship? No. I think one of the cool things about it, but it really doesn't sell people on, is I think it's one of the few activities that's heavily left brain and right brain. We have to think about it. We have to move. Something we don't tell other people, it's sociability. We talk about ourselves, sociability with safe touching. You don't get to, other than shaking hands or bumping fists, you don't get to really touch other people without it implying other things. And especially when her husband's in the square across from you, it's pretty safe. And one of the things that I like to tell people is you don't have to be able to dance as long as you can walk, and it's more of an arm movement than a dancing. But none of these are the analogy that I like to use. The best thing I've come up with in the past is it's a language. This is my pitch here. It's a language like the English language or the Swedish language. I mean, we know it's a square dance language and it's used the same throughout different countries, but I like to compare it to the English language because that's my main word. We have words, we have phrases, we have paragraphs, we tell stories. It's a language where the words are the calls. We learn in English, we learn a bunch of individual calls. In words. In square dancing, we learn a bunch of different calls. We have phrases. These are groups of words that typically go together. Axioms and all sorts of other stuff. And they're modules in square dancing. We have rules, which I didn't put down as one of these things, but in a language, certain words go together. It's the grammar of the whole thing. And in choreography, certain things go together. If I have couples back to back, I can't say right and left through. There's certain rules where things go one way, one time, and other ways they don't. we have paragraphs. These are the whole sequences of things, and we have stories. Our tip is a whole story, or sometimes just the sequence is a story. And by a story, I mean, well, what do I mean? I thought it was something yesterday. A story can be an easy or hard to understand. Some people, I think people put it in reading as reading at the third grade level or at the seventh grade level. Um, the way you use English can be understood easily or difficultly, depending on how crazy you are. Um, you can use a large vocabulary or a small vocabulary when you're speaking. And also, that goes for you can dance a program with 20 basics on it, 20 calls, or you can dance a program with 350 calls. Um, you can be poetic, you can be repetitive. Some people repeat the same choreography time after time, but they're entertainers despite it. So we have all very similar kind of stuff. Um, you can have humor in your choreography. You can be esoteric where only the few that want to think through this crazy concept can get with you. You can be slapstick and call crazy stuff that you turn back 3 times. Um, whatever mood you want to put with your dancers. As I said earlier, this is going to be a brainstorming session. I didn't know how long my presentation would take. Usually they take a lot longer than you're planning on. This one's going to be a real short one. Anyway, the fun for dancers is that they don't know what to expect, but they enjoy the suspense of the story. Again, they get a feel for whether it's a suspenseful or routine or slapstick. They know all the words, but they don't know the story that's coming out. So in summary, it's hard to understand what square dancing is without trying it. Try it, you'll like it. And we all know that once you get them through the door, as I used to tell my class, your job is to get them through the door the first night. My job is to want to make them come back again afterwards. You really have to, but just to try and let your friends know, why are you so fanatic about this? You've got to try it really to tell. So this language is the closest analogy I can come to what we find interesting in square dancing. But it ain't good. It's not great. I'm hoping maybe either some of you have better ones thought of it over the years, or maybe can help me improve this analogy and we'll have something worth telling friends. There must be a better one. What have you thought of? Time for questions and discussion. And it's not even 1/4 after. Wow.
Woo, that went fast.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to go that fast. It took me a lot longer to put the slides together.
And while I'm here, let me remember to, if I can find Yolanda in the list here, make sure Yolanda can record because I'm a little late on this. The one
You mean I got to do the presentation over again for
the tagline I have used is dancing for math nerds, but that doesn't necessarily sell it very well.
That's the puzzle solving set to music kind of thing.
Yeah, or Mother May I for adults.
The puzzle thing is good for selling it to your nerd friends. And certainly I advertise it that way to them. For the public, I wouldn't go with only that approach. I think it should be promoted on multiple different lines so that, you see some promotions of it say, oh, it's, puzzle solving set to music or something like that. And you have other ones where it's just like, come on out, it's lots of fun, we'll be dancing. and no mention of the puzzle things. And the dancing one can be, easy to learn. You got 2 left feet, that's okay, that kind of thing.
That's Chris. That's one thing that I forgot to say when I said you don't have to know how to dance. You really, I mean, one of the reasons I got into it is I'm not very good with footwork, and you don't. Again, if you want to start on your left foot or start on your right foot or hop on both feet, it doesn't matter. You just have to get from here to there, and preferably have the right hands available, and that might have gotten somebody like me in.
Joe, I noticed Joe has his hand up.
Oh,
Yeah. It's hard to explain to anybody that doesn't know, of course, but I came up with crazy sentences. Sort of what Don says, it's a 3-dimensional language requiring instant judgment in a time-constrained kinetic environment. Now, if that doesn't get people, I don't know what.
oh, I can't wait to try that. What does that mean?
Yeah, you're right. It's a language, and it's 3-dimensional. You're upright, you're moving about. But I think one of the things that people are reticent about knowing about square dancing at all, anyhow, is the involvement. And if you can let people know that, basically, once you know a few of these steps, you can be as involved as you want. You can come to this one little group each week and meet new friends and have a nice time. If your club has food, like when I started, we used to have a huge dinner combined with this thing. We'd have ham and potatoes and cakes and stuff. So that was always good. But if you want to get more involved, you can go to so-and-so's club over here and the next town. You can go to the convention. You can go on cruises. But you don't have to, And for the guys, they're afraid of looking silly. So, most of us offer the first night or so for free anyhow. You say, look, come on out and try it. If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. They haven't paid anything anyhow, so you're safe. But it's, I don't know, it's the excitement scares some people off. So I'll yield back to Don.
I like the fact that you can tell people, what was it you said? Oh, that there's all sorts of levels. You can get as nerdy as you want, or as moving with the music as you want, or as sociable as you want, or or eat as much as you want as some dances. Steve, your hand is up. Daryl, I know you were waving your hand before you had your digital one up, but Steve's in line here.
Yeah. Back in the 80s, I remember reading in Sets in Order an article that was actually printed in 74, I think it was. And it was entitled "Why Men Like Square Dancing," or something like that. And it related it to, it's more like a participation sport. And it was a really good article, and I've been trying to find it and I haven't been able to find it. And but I think I have it somewhere, but I just don't know. But it was really a cool article.
Did it sell you?
I was already sold before then, but
If you're reading Sets in Order, yes.
I think that's a good one. And I mean, even if nobody can ever find the original article, that's just a good point that we can use.
Daryl, go ahead.
Thank you. I assume I'm not muted. Okay. There's a difference between selling square dancing to somebody or explaining to them what square dancing is. If I were going to sell it, I'd go back to the old phrase, don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle. It's fun. That's why we do it. It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on. That's why we do it. Now that's speaking to a man. I don't know this how I'd say that to a lady, but that's what it's all about, isn't it? Now you can go ahead and if the guy says, I don't want to go dancing. Women, you don't have to sell any kind of dancing to women. Typically, they're going to be ready to go whenever you say it. But if you're going to sell, you need to sell it to the men. And some of the reasons that you gave fit quite nicely into that. You don't have any fancy footwork. They're going to tell you what to do all the time. Once you learn a few terms, you'll be out there doing it, and you're not going to look silly. Men don't like to look silly. They don't like to look dumb. So take care of their fears, sell them on the sizzle. It's fun. You're going to have a blast. It's a man's kind of dance. It was, as I recall, I think it was originally done by all men, wasn't it? Didn't it evolve from the Morris dances?
Tony's not here to answer that tonight.
Yeah.
I wish he was, but that'd be my thinking on it anyway.
By the way, at party nights when I get, half the floor up and the other half, let me see how it goes before doing it. I tell them it's a participation sport. It's not a spectator sport. Everybody's got to get up because these guys that are up there now don't want you looking at them, don't want you watching them. Get up there and join them. My real reason, of course, is that anybody that starts on the second or third tip at a party night is about 2 tips behind all the way through the evening. Chris, before I ask you, I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on my language analogy? Think of that along with your other suggestions.